Hey, this is Khalid Farouk Hayek with Urban Kids Universe, and welcome to another episode of the UKU Impacting Education Show, where we help early childhood educators, childcare directors, homeschoolers, and parents of 2 to 6 years old child make an impact. Today, I have with me Julie Delahook. Welcome to the show.
Hello, so excited to be here.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you here. How's it going?
Wonderful, wonderful. Very excited. This is my first official meeting as a member, so I'm very excited.
Awesome. Yeah, welcome to the family.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so today, actually, we're going to talk about the importance of the circle time. But before that, I'm going to ask you to give us some bio about yourself, tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we dive in. As normal, after that, I ask you so many questions that I have received, and then we go one by one. Is that good?
Yeah, sounds good.
Awesome. Take the lead.
Okay, so again, I'm Julie. I'm 32, a born and raised Vancouverite. Absolutely adore everything about Vancouver here. I started my childcare education in 2016, but it took me a long time to get there. I was very stubborn about wanting to work with kids for most of my life, thinking that was not the way for me to go. But people have been kind of shoving it down my throat for years. It's like, this is something you'd be really good at. And finally, by the end of 2015, I was like, maybe this is something I could do, because I always really did like hanging out with little kids when I was a kid. So like when I was in grade 7, I was hanging out with the kindergartners. And when I was in grade 12, I was a peer counselor, which meant I hung out with grade 8s. I always found it. So they're always so much more fun, way less drama, especially in high school. And I just, some of my fondest memories come from looking through their eyes as a 90s child and remembering everything I grew up with and how they're seeing the world. And when I started my schooling, it was the first time in any schooling I've done where I was like, this is where I'm supposed to be. I love what I'm learning. This is amazing. And I have worked at 5 different childcare locations. I started with school age in 2016, and my employer was actually a counselor at that particular school age job when I was a kid. So it was a place that I went to as a kid, and he was still there. So I still had to go through an interview process, but because he knew me, I got almost hired basically on the spot. And then I spent a couple years. It was awesome. And it was half a block away from me at that point when I was still living with my parents. So that was always a perk too. And
since then you moved to 5. Since then you worked with 5 different childcares.
That was my first of 5.
Yes.
So since 2016. So it was a really good one because it was part-time. They were able to be flexible with my schedule. And my boss actually had also done the exact same ECE program as me. So he understood the courses and the flexibility. He was actually one of my teachers as well, which was crazy. And he, so they were all very, very supportive of what I need to do for my schooling and the time away I need to take for practicums and field studies and all that. So they were great. But that was a great first place to work and kind of understand things going on. I was mostly with the kindergartners because they knew I wanted to go into early childhood education. Sometimes I was with the older kids, it depended on the day. And then after, I'd been working at Starbucks for about 10 years at that point. That was the job. That was my first job, and I just never left. And then I was thinking halfway through 2016, or was it? No, never mind.
We wanna focus on the ECE part.
Yes.
And so generally speaking, what is the age group that you had experience with?
3 to 5.
3 to 5. That's
3
awesome.
to 5. Yeah.
And when you went
that's where the most I have.
Awesome. Just so you know, I want to just mention to our audience on the show that you have me on the screen on top. This is the reason when you look up. So basically, when you look at me, you have to look up. When you look to the audience, no worries. It's a very nice, different setup. Okay. So you know what? Would you like we just dive right into the topic?
Sounds good.
Awesome. So today we chose this topic, which is the importance of circle time, because you told me when we met last time that you really have a lot of expertise in this. And I
Mhm,
told you, oh, I love when we go laser targeted on a specific topic. Okay. So
mhm.
I'll start with my questions and let's go from there. Okay.
Okay, sounds good.
So what is the goal of the circle time?
The circle time is expanding the knowledge of each individual child in any skill of academics and physical movement and all sorts of stuff. That basically is broadening the horizons in any way possible.
Wow. And basically, like always, I ask side questions right away. Okay. So my side question is how long you dedicate for circle time on daily basis?
Uh, it really depends. Like there's some programs that will really like encourage, like we need to do a half hour of circle time every day, depending on the philosophy, of course. And then others are more flexible, just like kind of have it in this general time frame. If it's really not working, if nothing's working, then you can like move them to a different activity for a little while. But yeah, more or less, I haven't found circles can go any longer than 30 minutes, but that's usually when the children are starting to get a little antsy.
And where is the time of the day? What time of the day you use it as a routine for the kids?
99% of the time it's been in the morning.
First
Again,
thing,
depending
right?
on the program, it's like if they're looking for something to do, you could pull out circle time activities.
Yeah.
But like the circle time itself, I found is usually like mid-morning.
Mid-morning,
Yeah.
not the very beginning.
No, not very beginning, because you still have to wait for children to show
Sure.
up so more people can participate. Yeah.
Totally. Okay. So what skills can be developed in the circle time?
They can learn math. They can use math. There could be creative aspects in there too, but also listening to their body and like learning about feelings and a sense of pride within themselves.
You know what? I like one of the main goals of this show is to share some life examples. So if you can share also for sure without we're not gonna go into the details of the kids' names, but we can go into some life examples. So when you say math, let me know, like give me elaborate. Let me get excited about it and hear more about these details. Go ahead.
For sure. So one that really I always do with to implement math skills is bingo. So I have a felt story of bingo, and so I have the song bingo. So I have a felt story with all the letters and a physical dog, and we'll count out all the letters together, and then as we sing each verse, I'll take one away, saying how many letters do we have left? How many times are we going to clap? So they have to work on their addition and subtraction, and whenever I do it, I always see such pride in the children's eyes when they figured out the correct number, and that it's really heartwarming. But then you also have felt stories, like Five Little Monkeys or Five Little Ducks, encouraging them to do math skills within those as well.
So okay, so these are examples for the songs that we can encourage them to do the math part of it. Is it mostly you try to go to do the circle time around songs, or you sometimes, let's say, you do stories, sometimes you do like make believe a game, like a little bit more?
Yeah, no, my favorite things to do are music and movement. So one thing, especially to get children's energy out, if I'm feeling like they're really restless, I have a ton of upbeat follow along songs that they can do, and that usually can calm down the room a little bit after they've gotten that energy of exercising out, because I usually get a workout when I do it with them too. So I get my exercise in for the day. But yeah, I am very heavily on them. Like my circles are usually felt stories, music and movement, and storybooks. I have tons of storybooks.
Most likely. Yeah. Awesome. Let me ask you the next question. So what do you do when you find the kids acting alone or disturbing others during the circle time? Like, how do you control that?
So every circle is going to be different. What worked yesterday's circle might not work today, and not every child is going to be engaged. So what you kind of have to do is read the energy of the room, and if this and basically gauge, like, how are the children, how is everyone else feeling? If this one child is not enjoying this activity, they should ask everyone else how they're feeling about it. And if majority of people want to move on, then we can do that. And if, there will be upset children over moving on, especially if, it's like almost half and half. Then you explain to them that this is not something everyone wants to do. But we can definitely, like the storybook or a song or something, we can say, we can pull this one out later. We could read this as a small group one-on-one this afternoon, something like that, giving them hope that they will hear or
Different
do
options.
what we have been doing. Yeah, that option will be there. I just don't want to make it difficult for everyone else if they don't want to do it.
I believe it's gonna be minimal, because most of the kids, like almost everybody, even us as an adult, songs and dancing is like just vibrate all of our soul, right? Like it's just like make you just jump and get into it. So I believe it's gonna, like, it's minimal to happen, right? Most likely, if they don't like the song, maybe they're gonna act that way.
Or they've overdone it, or they're just not in the mood for it. Maybe if they've done it too much, with, like, if they have one teacher doing it this day and two other teachers during the week doing the same song, they're like, I don't want to hear this again. Right? Like, I mean, that's not usually true with kids, because they like to hear the same things most of the time. I hear them liking the same things a lot. But yeah, it happens. And so, yeah, you just got to read the room and understand where the kids are coming from.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Like, I like the terminology, read the room. Okay, read their energy and see that. That's absolutely the way to go, especially with dancing. Right.
Yes,
Okay.
definitely. Yeah.
Okay. So let's go to a little bit deep here. What topics you think we can discuss during circle time?
In my mind, there is nothing off limits to talking about in circle. I mean, within reason. I mean, you're not going to talk about adult problems like drugs or anything like that. But when it comes to questions of pride, like gay, bisexual, all those things, transgender, kids are much smarter than we give them credit for all the time. And so it's very, you can bring up almost anything with them in a way that they're going to understand, and then they can broaden their interests more in the subject. So ultimately, yeah, there's nothing that you can say in a circle.
I actually was expecting a sort of different answer, which is you are going to say, like, I'm not, you are going to say, I was thinking that most likely you would see what their interest was the day before, so you introduce it during circle time. Do you do that often?
Oh yeah, you can absolutely do that as well. I'm thinking more so when, like, if there's like a particular theme or something's happening during the week.
Yes.
That, like,
exactly. This is exactly what I mean.
For example, yeah.
So you dedicate the circle time knowledge for that interest during the week, so you can keep introducing it or visit it over and over again, right? Like,
exactly,
a different perspective.
Yeah, exactly. Bring it up during that time period, and then maybe it's a storybook that they want to hear over and over again. Like, I have tons of storybooks about pride. I also have some about Indigenous backgrounds and all that. Like, just trying to educate children on very broad topics as much as we can, because the world is changing every day, and they're going to have questions about different things that they're seeing every day. So it's important that
I would like
we're not afraid to tell them what they're interested in.
Yes, totally. Yes. Yeah. We didn't mention this in your intro, but I would love to that you introduce a little bit about your experience with Indigenous people, right? With Indigenous kids, because like, that was something unique. When we met the first time, I told you, oh my God, we will get a lot of value because you have a lot of experience with them. So by you sharing some experience, some stories, that will give us a lot to learn. So go ahead and tell me a little bit about your experience with Indigenous kids.
Not so much with kids, but I've had lots of experience in education in it. So in a couple years back at one of my jobs, we had a workshop on learning the Indigenous background of Indigenous people. So the person hosting would be the settler coming in, and everyone else would be acting out the different roles of the Indigenous people and slowly start separating them away from their families. And it became a very intense experience where majority of us were crying by the end. It was really tough information to take in. And after that meeting, my employer at the time said, no, we're not just going to do this workshop and not do anything with it. You guys are going to keep progressing. You're going to keep progressing and do activities with the kids with that. So I started immediately getting books on totem poles right away. Because in Vancouver, we have a Stanley Park, which is known for a lot of Indigenous activity, and there's totem poles and lots of Indigenous stores and stuff like that in this park. So the kids will see those kinds of things. I also, an activity that I like to do that incorporates nature as well is creating talking sticks for them. Talking sticks for people who don't know are the ways Indigenous used to have meetings, and that would signify who was allowed, who was speaking at each time. And obviously I don't go into detail like wrapping around feathers or string or anything like that. It's usually just painting them. But as they're doing it, I give them the story of what they're used for and how they could use them in their everyday lives at home. And yeah, that's one that really stuck around. And I try and do some activities with the 7 animal teachings as well. So a different theme of animal every week and what they bring on, and I have stories about that as well. And try and get the classroom with the same kind of colors as well. Like trying to keep that theme of it throughout the room.
I bet the kids, they saw that very interesting, right? Like to see all of that different way of approaching the activity.
Exactly.
I was interesting listening to it, honestly.
Oh.
Awesome. Let's get back to the topic.
For sure.
Thank you. Awesome.
No problem.
Okay. So how do we keep children engaged during circle time? We just kind of touch base on it, but I would like to see if you have some techniques that when to engage them, especially like 2-3 different techniques, not just one. Share with us a little bit.
Okay. So again, it's all about kind of reading the room. If they're really not enjoying something, move on. You just have to be flexible with what the room is.
Do you have a life example that happened, and like the way you present the moving on, like just share it with them.
Oh, for sure. Yes. So there was a movement song I was doing with a group of kids, and one of them was just not having it and was just kind of rolling around on the floor, and just really didn't want to do it, and
not
was
today.
distracting. And I was distracting other kids. And so I kind of paused the song that we were doing and asked the kids, is this something you'd like to keep doing, or should we do this one later in circle or later this afternoon? Kind of get an idea of what the rest of the room is feeling if that one child is really not having it. And I also asked the child too, is there something that we could do to keep that everyone could enjoy? And so I always have my supplies with me, and I let them know, this is what I've got with me. Is this some, and give them some options. And so if they really don't want to do a certain thing, I can easily move on. You just have to be flexible.
That's awesome. Flexibility is key here. And also redirect them to another option. I believe that's a very, very important key as well, right? Yeah, you just pointed to these two. Yeah. Let's go to another question. So what opportunities are there to foster a teacher-child relationship during a circle time?
During a circle time, the best way that you can do it is just making sure that they know that they're being heard. So within that of like keeping a child engaged, you're watching them and listening to them and how they're feeling, and then in turn, by asking if there's something else we can do, they feel that they're being respected and they're feeling heard, and therefore they transfer that feeling onto the teacher of being like, oh, they listened to me here, I should be listening to her now.
And
So
do
yeah.
you how many kids do you have in your classroom, like the current one?
Like a standard full day program can be up to 25 kids. I've never had a circle
Wow.
with that many kids. um, and if
Wow.
we do have one with that many kids, there's usually another teacher around because with ratio and
Another
everything.
yes,
Yeah,
totally.
that like sitting with, not running the circle, but they're with me to help.
And
'Cause
then like
managing
as a
25 is a lot. Most of the time I don't usually have more than like 12-ish, which is not, 10, no, not even less than that. Sometimes up to, because ratio here is 1 to 8, so most of the time would be about eight kids. But in a standard classroom, about 25. If there is a full group circle, then
but
there'd be another teacher.
you have somebody to assist with you, right?
Yeah,
You have
yeah.
another
If it's a
teacher.
small circle, then no. But if it's a big circle, there can be someone there to help. Because obviously, if there's like 5 kids all being disruptive, I can't individually meet all their needs. So having another teacher
Yeah, I
would
asked
be
this question because I have another question related to it. The point is, before that, I like based on my experience with meeting so many people, I realized the average ratio is like you said, it's 1 to 8. I
Mhm.
heard a few times 1 to 13, like you just mentioned. 125 is a lot, so I think
Yeah.
you absolutely need minimum one to two
Mhm.
other people to assist you or teachers to assist you.
Exactly.
But I asked this question from an idea where do you have some specific times during circle time where the kids has like they want to raise their hand one at a time and they give different each of them give individual answers, or you try to always engage them as one group so you can really attract the attention with all of them?
Uh, like in circle, it's learning how to work as a group, but also giving them individual pride. So using a group setting, you could ask them. They could all have different questions uh, about it. I mean, obviously, if it ventures too far off topic, I'll have to redirect it. But most of the time, that's totally fine if they want to ask their own questions. I'm not going to, stifle their curiosity by any means.
Yes, because as we
But
are talking, yeah, go ahead.
yeah, but I often like to uh, ask questions about what they think about a certain thing. Like if there was a scenario in a storybook, asking their ideas on what could happen in here, or ask questions about the story or something like that. So it's like learning how to sit in a group nicely and respect everyone's turn, but they can also, like for a music and movement story, it's a group participation activity.
Yes. Honestly, like I like to learn so many details about this because we are planning here at UKU to
Mhm,
have a specific category, which is only circle time, so we
mhm.
can really put a lot of ideas. I'm so interested in this topic, to be honest, and I would love even inside the community when you join the community, I would love to hear so many examples
Mhm.
because based on that, we're gonna create a full category out of that. I love it.
Oh, awesome.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah.
No problem.
By the way, another like it just popped up in my head. Okay, and another one.
Mhm.
Okay, do you try to create some type of make believe story or song that you create on the spot with them? Let's say.
Oh, on the spot. I have not. I'm not. I honestly, when it comes to real life improv outside of circle time, that's never been much of my strong suit. I like to have things prepared personally. And when I mean flexible, just having my stories ready to go. But that is definitely something I could try in the future. I think that's actually
I
a
can't
really
give you
great
example. I
idea.
can't give you example. I can't give you example about that. Like, let's say I heard this from one of the ACEs. She
Mhm,
was like she always start with a story, like with a book,
mhm,
and then she tried to start asking open-ended questions so she
mhm.
can grow the imagination. And
Yes.
then she knew, like, you're gonna know that you are going to have extended time. It's not gonna end up with a same circle time. You're gonna
Yeah.
extend that time because they're now, let's say we are all in a boat, for example, and then look at there, we can see these fishes, and then some kids that are gonna start jumping and swimming, right? Did you
Yeah.
do you go that further, or you try to stick into whatever the book boundaries and you go around it?
Um, That is a really interesting thing that I might I might start
Well,
doing.
try it. Try
I
it one day.
sometimes like to do like one word stories with them. So like having them say one word each, and we could build our own story that way too. That's active participation.
I would love to hear about
That's
it.
something
Okay.
I've done before.
One word story. Oh my God, I'm gonna write this as a note.
So again,
This is
I mean, it's a little bit harder for the 3-year-olds, like the 4 and
younger.
5-year-olds, pick it up a bit better. But it's each of them saying one word and creating like a couple sentences and making it into a story.
Wow. Do you involve in the circle time any character, for example, or a toy or a stuffy that they are part of your circle time as well to join as an extra?
Yes, I've had puppets in the past.
Puppets.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah, animal puppets, and then like you have them be their own person, and the kids love it.
That's awesome. And I heard the first time we met, I heard that you also do your own music. Like you do when you sing to them. Do you have instrument that you use normally?
Sometimes I do have a ukulele, and sometimes I pull it out, but I'm also okay with it doing a cappella. I'm not a proficient singer by any means, but I'm not scared to let myself be silly and be out of tune if I'm singing with the kids. But most of the time I venture into a cappella. I've just got a very musical family, so it's something that's very ingrained in my head, having instruments and playing lots of music and dancing.
Yes. And you know what? Here are two more questions. The first one is, do you play? This is important because not all of the child care center they do it. Do you play a song like over a phone or MP3 files? I mean, like audio file or a TV, or you always have to say it, you sing it yourself?
Oh,
It's
I
just
have a
because the
whole
different policy. Yeah.
I have a whole children's music playlist on my on my phone. So I usually would connect it to a Bluetooth speaker, and I do songs like freeze dance, animal freeze dance, chicken dance. There's one I learned recently called the goldfish song. Just kind of getting their bodies moving around, and I usually end up using my phone for those things.
And you rather to I'm not sure you're using via Bluetooth, which is basically it's an audio clip, it's not
Yeah.
on TV. Is it because the child care center policy, or because I mean policy that they don't you cannot use the TV or a smart device, or it's just because you want them to focus on you while they're just hearing the song? Like, what is the reason?
Well, I mean, as we know, kids are very proficient in phones nowadays, and they're going to want to, if you're playing, for example, you found a new one on YouTube and you don't have access to the MP3 itself, you want to play it from YouTube. The kids, if you have your phone visible, they're going to want to watch it. So if you, it's the same with any child that I've ever met. If there's a screen on a phone, they're going to want to see what's happening. So I try, yeah, I would play the song on my phone, but keep my phone hidden. They know it's there, but they know I also advertise there's nothing to watch on there. I'm just playing a song. Like 90%, 99% of the time I'm playing a song and not going off YouTube. So yeah, I think it's important if you are using your phone, just keep it out of sight, or let them know that it's off limits. And they majority of the time children understand that someone else's phone is not theirs to use.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So you know what? You just gave me an idea. We have an artist, a singer, and I believe we can contact her so she can create, let's say, different songs in a form of audio clip instead of just recording kids dancing around. Because we already have, I believe, like 95 songs that we have the kids filmed, that we have the kids really dancing around. But the idea of having the same song just dedicated as an audio file, this is a new idea, and most likely by the end of December we'll have it ready. So thank you for the idea. I really like it.
Yeah,
I'll apply it right away.
Yeah, there's so many songs that the kids can dance to and they love. And I love being the one that shows them these new songs that they've never done before, and how excited they get when they understand the concept of what they're supposed to do, and then just have a blast.
Totally.
It's fun to watch.
Yes, totally. You know what? Also, it happened, I believe, like 2 months ago. 2 months ago, we received a feedback from our community that they wanted to have a new song that we create. We create the song, we
Mm,
create the lyrics, we create the music out of everything, and it teaches numbers, right? So we
mhm.
created it, and then we have an artist or a singer who sung the song, and then we have the puppets doing the song, and it's
Yeah.
all number songs. So you know what? I think after this phone call, that's this call, I will play it here for our audience to hear, and then I'll send you a link for it, and you give me your feedback.
Okay, sounds good. In my music and movement class, actually, back in 2018, my teacher had us all write our own song, which was a very creative activity for us to do. And me and this small group wrote a song on a ukulele about the Hawaiian fish, Humu Humu Nukuapua'a.
What?
It's a very long name for a fish, but we came up with a small song, and this is 3 years later, and I'm still singing it. So it's something I could pass off the ukulele chords or find to get myself to do.
I would love to. I would love to. Absolutely. If you can give me write it for us, I will absolutely, like, we will hire that singer. We will hire somebody to do the music, and then we'll put it all together. You know what? We should also. I'm gonna write this one as a note here. Okay, that we should also. You see, you're giving me a lot of homework today. We should also maybe dedicate one song per month that we receive these like you guys write it inside the community, and then we, after we discuss it, that this is the final proof as the word of the songs, we just
Mhm.
start making a real song out of it. That's awesome.
Exactly. Yeah, I'll see if I can get permission from my classmates if they're okay with me sharing
Yeah,
that
you
info.
tell
I'm
me.
sure it should be fine.
You tell me that. Okay,
Yeah,
keep
for
me
sure.
posted about that. Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so how do you foster a sense of pride in each individual a child during a circle time with a group of children?
When it comes to that, I always like to start my circle times with something like, if it's a Monday, ask them what they did on the weekend, give every child a chance to share their story, as well as ask, when it comes to like a story book, you can ask them questions individually, and they get pride from their own answers, and being able to ask and answer. Or there's a felt story that I did that was very interactive, and it was what color house is the mouse behind? And it's a bunch of different felt houses, different colors of the rainbow, and you get all the children to close their eyes, and the teacher hides the mouse behind a house, and you can call each child up individually, uh, and they can find the mouse themselves, and the smiles that they get when they accomplish finding this mouse. It's wonderful. So I can see their pride within themselves, or they're proud that they figured out these things on their own.
So basically, you are saying if we are going to implement the challenges and
Mhm.
reward to that challenges, that's gonna feel the, oh, I did this, right?
Mhm.
I would love to hear, like, do you have maybe two more examples about, like, similar to this, hiding the mouse behind the colors? Do you have another example that you can share?
Uh, Bingo is a good example with that too. When they figure out the math with
Yeah,
that's a good one.
yeah.
Um, what other ones can I think of? That's
While you're thinking, I have also another question right away. You just
sure.
mentioned that you dedicate the days of the week to different circle time. Does that mean, let's say, you will have plan ahead that on Monday I will make the circle time and this type of theme, like let them talk more. Let's say on Tuesday it's gonna be more about stories. Wednesday or more about songs. Is that what you said? Like, I wanted just to understand, is it random, or you just have to dedicate so they know every Monday I'm sharing something?
Uh, no, it's when I say what worked for yesterday might not work for today, is reading the energy of the room. So it's you have a certain group of kids that just may not want to do anything that you had planned out. And again, it's just about flexibility. Like, you're not but a circle can be different every day. There's no set one way to do a circle. So yeah, there's no one way to do it. It's just about understanding the kids that you have, and if there's something particular you need to talk about, like maybe there's something going on in the playground safety wise that the children need to understand, or details about hand washing or how we treat things in the room. Like you can have small discussions, but it's not something that it has to be done. Monday stories, Tuesday music, Thursday,
Yeah, don't do that. No.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, maybe depending on different programs, like some Montessori's maybe that way.
Yeah.
But not in most places I've been to. They don't.
You just got me. You just got me where I get these ideas from, because I know because I met again a lot of different ECEs who work in different childcare centers. The majority of who work with Montessori's, the management, they really try to let them to keep them doing exactly the schedule, right? As good as it is, as sometimes it's getting frustrated, because sometimes you, like you said, we want to read the room, and then the room doesn't want that today. Let's go to talk about, let's say, outside play, because they are very interested in it today, right? Something like that. Yeah. So you just got me. Anyways.
Yeah. Apparently, as a kid, one of my first practicums was a Montessori, and I just found them way too social for it. I wanted to hang out and talk with the kids, and that's not just something that you do. They have to figure things out for themselves. And apparently as a kid, I went to a Montessori and did not like it. So I kind of learned from an early age what theories work for me.
Well, it's our job as an ECE is to simplify it enough to them, so especially for like younger age group, so they see they learn it through play, right? It's all about immersion play, right? It's not about, okay, let's do this and finish this and we report that we have done it. It's not like that, especially at young age. The older they get, I understand that we can implement some themes, but for that age group that we are talking about right now, it's more about immersion play, and they're just having fun all the time, but they end up with these different developments emotionally, physically, and all of that, right? Here is another question about circle time. How was it working for you during COVID?
During the circle during COVID, there wasn't a lot of that. We couldn't really do circle time over Zoom or anything like that. And when I came back to work, there was a lot of changing in routines, so we didn't have a set schedule time for circle or anything like that. But there'd be times if we were outside and a lot of the children weren't feeling the outside time, I would have some stories or bring out a felt board, and we could do something small outside.
So here,
it was around like late spring when everyone started progressively coming back. So it's kind of just, again, being flexible with where and when you wanted to do it while we figured out a new routine.
Inside the childcare center, did they ask you, let's say, to during the circle time, let's say they keep a little bit distance, they put a mask, or no, we're all good, it just reduce the time of it? Like, I just wanted to know how they dealt with it from technical perspective, just because we want to share that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, the teachers were always required to wear masks no matter what.
You wear masks always?
All the time, just kind of how we have to wear, what the BC rules were at that time. Everyone had to wear a mask inside the classroom. Parents weren't usually allowed in the classroom when dropping off their kids too. That was a big thing. No, circle was never really an issue during that time. We had smaller groups of kids. A lot of parents were still not sending their kids yet. In that particular center I was at, we had an upstairs and a downstairs, so we kind of separated the kids a little bit. So we had different numbers on. Let me rephrase this. We had an upstairs and a downstairs classroom, so we can kind of not have everyone in the same space all the time.
Gotcha. And during circle time, you don't really ask them to stay a little bit far from each other. It's just the way it is. We're going to continue the way it is. But by default, it came that it's less kids inside. This is what you are saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gotcha. By the way, when you were making masks, did you have the idea to put a mask that it's clear somehow, like this, so they can see the facial expression?
And well, I mean, the kids at that point, I had been there long enough that the kids kind of knew my face and the kind of faces that I make. They know when I'm being silly by just like reading my eyes because they knew me so well at that point. When it comes to like a new place, I would like pull down my mask and be like, this is the face that I'm making, like just kind of just show them, as opposed to them being like, I don't know what she's going for. But yeah, the first circle times coming back with the mask was not an issue.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, I have one last question, then we go to action points if you don't mind.
Okay,
So
sounds good.
why circle time is important part of a children learning development, in your opinion?
In my opinion, the one.
And experiences.
Yeah, of course, yeah. There's so many ways to do circle time as an ECE that you can foster any kind of learning development with the children. So again, like the physical movements, math, even you could even do science experiments within circle. Like there's so many different learning opportunities in social, emotional ways as well. Like I love reading stories about feelings and stuff like that, so the children can understand what their body's feeling. So there's multitudes of what learning types of learnings that the children can get from a circle time.
I love that terminology, multitude of type of learning for what they're going to get from it. That's awesome. You summarized it very well. Okay. Give us a few action points that we can take and we apply in our circle of times as NECs. So
the expansion on different cultures and lifestyles, and that kind of goes with pride and Indigenous backgrounds. The importance of individualism in a circle for each child, development of social emotional skills, development of gross motor, diving into topics that you are afraid that the children might not understand. Don't be worried about it. Development of academic skills, understanding the perspective of the children, and then just being open to new ideas and resources.
That's a very very good one, especially the last one when you said open to new ideas. I believe you are saying on new ideas and resources from both parties, from different teachers, right? Mm-hmm. And from the kids themselves, right? Because you said
exactly, yeah.
Sometimes they do the game basically by doing the word each of them. Wow, that's exactly, a very nice one. Okay, well, thank you so much for your time.
No problem. Thank you.
Okay, guys, so this is your host, Khalid Farouk Hayek, with UKU Impacting Education Show. And until next time, go make your kids' life a masterpiece. Bye for now.
Bye.
Cheers.
Yo, hey kids, welcome to Urban Kids Universe. Today we're gonna sing the number song together. Are you ready for these numbers? Let's go. 1 little, 2 little, 3 little numbers, 4 little, 5 little, 6 little numbers, 7 little, 8 little, 9 little numbers, 10 little numbers going down all around. Yeah, you know this how we do because we keep it true. Yeah, we do it just for you. So hey, let's get back to it. Let's do it one more time, but in reverse. Yeah, ready to rhyme. 10 little, 9 little, 8 little numbers, 7 little, 6 little, 5 little numbers, 4 little, 3 little, 2 little numbers, 1 little number going down. It's what it is, yeah, it's what we into. In case you didn't know, hey, I'm giving you a little puppet preview of how it go down when we doing numbers. Cause you know we doing it loud. Let's go. 1, say it, 2, say it loud, yeah. 3, come on. 3 little numbers going down, yeah. 4, say it loud, say it proud. 5, yup, say it out loud. 6, yeah, you doing it now. 6 little numbers going down, that's what it be. 7, say it. 8, say it loud. Yeah, this is what it is when we doing our song. Now let's go ahead and do it one more time. Yeah, hoping that you're ready, cause it goes like this. 1, say it, say it. 2, say it loud. Yeah, 3, come on, come on. 3 little numbers going down, down. Yeah, 4, say it loud, say it proud. 5, yup, say it out loud. 6, yeah, you doing it now. 6 little numbers going down. That's what it be. 7, say it, say it, say it, say it. 8, say it, say it, say it loud. 9, go ahead and scream it out. 10, you know you're doing it right now. 10, 10, 10. Yeah, this is what it is when we doing our song. And thank you for singing along. Yeah, 1 to 10, my friends.